Mexico has been the goal from the very start. Going all the way back to stage 1 in China, every archer has had one eye on the target and the other eye on this prize. As the world's finest hopscotched around the globe, competing in Shanghai, Medellin, Antalya, and Wroclaw, the battle intensified and got tighter at each tour stop. The strong survived, leaving just 16 compound archers, the best in the business, with a good shot at an October to remember in the teeming metropolis of Mexico City. Now, trying to guess who might win a World Cup title is like forecasting the weather. It's not an exact science. Far from it. In fact, predicting the outcome of the World Cup Finals is little more than a roll of the dice.
For the gold medal match for the women compound, I think that Linda Ochoa from Mexico and Sarah Lopez from Colombia is going to be in the gold final.
I think Sarah Lopez will go and Casadorin.
In my opinion, I think Linda and Sarah Lopez go for the final.
I'm going with Sarah and Linda.
I will say Sarah Lopez and Linda Ochoa.
For the women gold medal match, I would like to see Crystal from the USA. She has done a really good season and I think she deserves it. And Sarah Lopez, I hope she will be there as well. And then see which one of them are going to go with the gold.
Prognosticators could not have foreseen all the twists and turns in the plot that played out on Compound Saturday. And it all began with the very first match between two teammates, Maria Vinogradova and Natalia Avdieva, both representing the Russian Federation. Both had to be shocked when Natalia missed a shot in the second end, leaving her trailing by 8 with just 3 to shoot. Avdieva soldiering on, opening the final end with a 9, which was matched by Maria. Natalia would nail another 9, but could not gain ground on Vinogradova. Natalia would go out on a high note, but after missing a target, her fate was basically sealed. It would be the 21-year-old Maria Vinogradova moving on to the semifinals. It was just 3 years ago that Crystal Gauvin picked up a bow and got into archery for the first time, and now she was center stage of the World Cup Finals, facing the wife of her teammate Steve Anderson. Linda Ochoa Anderson lives and trains in the United States, but was proud to be shooting for Mexico in her native country. We pick up the action late in the match, Gauvin down by 3, but battling to come back. At the same time, Linda was doing all she could to shut the door. Crystal kept trying to cut into that lead, but the woman so many had picked to reach the finals kept holding her off. Crystal Gauvin would take one last stab at it, making sure she'd done all she could to put herself in position to win, but Linda Ochoa Anderson lived up to expectations and closed out the match, running the table. Andrea Marcos of Spain made a name for herself by winning a gold medal at Stage 2 in Turkey. Along the way to the gold, she had beaten Mexico's Stephanie Salinas, who would bring a bronze medal home from Conaulty Beach, and was looking forward to this rematch with Marcos on Stephanie's home turf. This turned out to be an epic battle, requiring a shoot-off to decide the outcome. Salinas would get the first stab at it, and landed on the line, leaving plenty of room for Marcos to work with. But the Spaniard saw her shot sail wide left, landing farther from the center than Stephanie's arrow. So Salinas gets the nod, winning the shoot-off, the match, a chance to keep shooting in the next round, and possibly a chance to medal at the World Cup Finals. As always, Alejandra Usquiano was all smiles before her quarterfinal match. Still, it had to be difficult having to face a teammate in the first round, especially when that teammate is ranked number 1 in the world and the World Cup standings. Sarah Lopez was on a quest to become the first woman to win back-to-back World Cup titles, and it was clear to see that this was all business, taking a 6-point lead into the 5th end. With cathedral bells chiming, Usquiano would plant her first arrow into the 9 ring, allowing Lopez to build her lead even more with a 10. Alejandra would tag the 10 line on her next shot. But of course, Sarah had the answer, hitting pay dirt once again. As it turns out, the bells were tolling for Alejandra Usquiano, who, try as she might, just was not able to mount a late charge. Sarah Lopez sealing the deal to win by 8 points. Sarah surviving and moving on. As fate would have it, teammates would once again do battle for the bronze medal. Stephanie Sarai-Salinas, a two-time bronze medalist from Turkey and China, found herself matched up against Linda Ochoa Anderson. Linda losing by 3 in the semis, while Salinas saw a golden opportunity slip away against Sarah Lopez. We pick up the action after 3 ends. LOA, Linda Ochoa Anderson, leading by just a point. But that was about to change. Salinas would hit the jackpot with her first shot of the 4th end. But Linda was even more precise. So for Salinas, there was no margin for error. But everyone's human, and this is a shot she'd like to have back. Especially after Linda Ochoa Anderson took full advantage, picking up 2 more points with another rock-solid shot. Stephanie would continue dancing around the center ring, putting her in even greater jeopardy. And she was. Linda Ochoa Anderson making it 3 in a row, 10s across the board, and increasing her lead to 4 points, much to the chagrin of her Mexican teammate, whose hopes were fading fast. That being said, Stephanie kept firing away. And she actually got a few points back, thanks to a rare 8 off Ochoa's bow. Salinas still had life, only down by 2. Had she been able to hit another 10, the lead would have been down to 1 after Mrs. Anderson put a 9 on the board. Had Salinas been able to find the sweet spot, well, the outcome might have been different. But this match belonged to the woman with 14 World Cup medals on her resume. Leaving no doubt, Linda Ochoa Anderson sank another 10 to sew up a 3-point victory and claim the bronze medal. After finishing 6th at the World Cup Finals in Edinburgh and 5th at the Finals in Lausanne, Linda would finally reach the podium and the pinnacle of her career. With friends and family in the grandstands, Linda brings down the curtain on what surely has to be one of the best years of her life. Getting married, winning silver and bronze in the World Cup circuit, and then fending off a challenge from the talented Stephanie Salinas to win a bronze medal at the World Cup Finals in her home country of Mexico. Final tally, 143 to 140. Lo and behold, the beneficiary of her teammates' misfortune in the first match of the day found herself catapulted into the gold medal match in Mexico City. Maria Vinogradova, the 21-year-old upstart from the Russian Federation, had gotten past Natalia Avdieva and then Linda Ochoa Anderson to earn her spot in the spotlight alongside the queen of women's compound, the incomparable Sarah Lopez. Maria's mission? Try and derail the Lopez Express. Not so fast, my friends. That's easier said than done. After falling behind early and coming back to tie the match after 6 arrows, Sarah was up by 3 heading into the 4th end. Vinogradova proved to be a tough customer, opening with a 10. And she would pick up a point after Lopez countered with a 9, cutting the lead down to a deuce. Maria would turn up the heat even more, poking another hole in the center of that target. But the great Colombian archer could smell what was cooking, Sarah making sure the lead remained at 2. That seemed to take the air out of Maria's sails. Her third attempt turned out to be a wayward shot that gave Sarah Lopez a chance to rebuild her lead, and she wasn't about to let that opportunity go by the wayside. Striking gold once again, Sarah's now got a 4-point edge with 3 shots to go, and she's overflowing with the confidence of a champion. Meanwhile, Maria was struggling to reach the finish line. A disappointing 7 made her even more vulnerable. Lopez would pounce once again, stretching her lead up to 7. So at this point, it became a matter of pride, and Maria Vinogradova's got plenty of that going for her. She rallied with a respectable 9, but even that wasn't enough to keep from falling further behind. No let-up from Sarah Lopez, who ups the ante even more. It's an 8-point lead, meaning Maria needs a miracle. Her opponent was not of a mind to deliver one. Sarah Lopez, sewing up the gold medal with another pinpoint shot, pulling away for an 8-point victory to cap yet another winning campaign. After winning the gold medal at the World Cup Finals in Switzerland last season, Colombia's Sarah Lopez makes history once again, becoming the first woman to win back-to-back world titles. It's a fitting end to a season that began with a gold medal in Shanghai, another gold medal in Medellin, a bronze medal at the World Championships in Copenhagen, a pair of team medals in Antalya, and, oh yes, 2 team medals at the Youth Championships in Yankton, South Dakota. This is one medical school student who truly passed the test. I'm feeling really happy that I achieved my goal. I made lots of sacrifices, but it was definitely worth it. There were some hard matches, but I managed my nerves. Knowing that I won the title again for Colombia is awesome, and making my family and my country proud makes me very happy. Now it was time for the women to yield the field to the men of compound, but not before offering a few predictions of their own.
The men's gold compound, I'd have to go with Rio. He's been really consistent all year, and he's from the U.S. I got to cheer for my teammates, and I'll go with Martin Damsbo. I think he's had a couple bad luck things happen this year, and I think he's probably eager for that win here.
Mike from Netherlands and Rio for USA.
Is there for me the Green and Rio White on Mike's Spilser?
I was going to say Sebastian and Martin.
I think it's going to be between Rio Wild and Martin Dansmo.
I hope in gold medal match will Dominique Jeanette and Martin Dansmo.
I would like to see Demir from Turkey and Mario from Mexico.
I think Sebastian Pinot versus Mike from Netherlands.
Did you notice Sarah Lopez was the only one to mention Demir Elma Açla from Turkey? She would prove to be a very good fortune teller as the day wore on. Demir not about to defer to America's Rio Wild, who was hoping to recapture the magic that brought him a World Cup title 10 years ago in Mexico with his wife Sherry in the coach's box. This time Rio would have to rally after falling behind early in the first end. A 9 from Elma Açla shrank the lead down to 3 in the 5th end, and the Honey Badger was making a comeback bid with back-to-back 10s. Another 9 from the young Turk would fuel Rio's hopes for a dramatic run, but when he needed more, the wild man could only muster up a 9 himself. He'd run out of arrows and run out of time. 8 would be enough for Elma Açla to clinch the match and begin to fulfill the Sarah Lopez prophecy.
Hello, I'm Sebastian Pinot, 3-time World Cup winner and actual world #1, and I will explain you the torkless D-loop. A standard D-loop takes place upper from the knock and down. This torkless D-loop takes place only down from the knock. This really simple thing helped me to have better results and have better grouping. When I draw my bow and I get my anchor just here, I just open my mouth to move up the contact of my arrow. If I don't open my mouth, all my arrows are going on the 7 or 8 on the left side. The torkless D-loops work for me. I'm sure it can work for you.
Normally, Sébastien Peynaud would be willing to exchange trade secrets with teammate Dominique Genet and vice versa, but not when the two Frenchmen found themselves matched up in the quarterfinals in Mexico City. For Peynaud, this was a chance to make up for last year's 6th place finish on the shores of Lac Le Mans. But atonement does not come easy. After 4 ends, Genet held a slim 1-point lead. Seb would start the 5th end with a strong shot, a direct hit. Dominique does the same, and the lead stays at 1. Peynaud pounds away, hammering home another 10. And there may be a reversal of fortune after Genet lets one get away, leaving the two tied at 135. With the match on the line, Peynaud puts up a 9 less than an inch from the 10 ring, so this time it would be Dominique Genet reaching the promised land.
This surroundings that has been here in Mexico has been amazing. The weather is great. We don't have too much wind yet. And the field they have built up here is just amazing. So we're really looking forward to go in there and shoot up against a really strong opponent. So it'll be a good match, I hope. I think when you're standing in this game with the only 8 people left for the season, it doesn't matter who you're up against. All of them is shooting great. You'll have a great match no matter which person you're up against. But of course, you have a guy that Mike Schloss is really on fire this year, and Sébastien Peynaud and Rio, all of them actually. If 4,500 spectators more the biggest crowd I've tried? I think so. I don't know how many there was in Paris, but these stands looks way bigger, and the Mexican people are so good at cheering for people, maybe not for non-Mexicans, but I think it's going to be a great atmosphere in there. And my season this year has been really not all the way to the top, but never in the bottom either, so it's kind of average. So I hope to get a step closer. But it's definitely not relaxing to have been winning it before now. I feel fairly confident. I've been struggling the last few weeks, but I've found some good rhythm here the last few days in Mexico in the great weather, so I hope for it.
Martin Damsbo speaks the truth. India's Abhishek Verma came to the finals shooting extremely well and had a gold medal from stage 3 in Poland to prove Martin's point. The Great Dane had also come close to medaling in Poland and was the picture of consistency all season, finishing anywhere from 4th to 8th at all 4 stages. After 4 ends, this one was too close to call. Down by 1, Damsbo delivers. But so does Verma.
Very good.
Damsbo tries to dial up another 10 and comes up 1 point short. That gives the man from India a chance to grow his lead. He's up 2 with 1 to go. Martin strikes gold one last time, but he'll fall by 2 points short as Verma finds the gold mine with his final 3 shots to close out the match and stay in the hunt for a World Cup title. Mexico's Mario Cardoso would close out the quarterfinals, and there were few expectations for this wild card chosen by his country to fill out the field of 8 and give the top qualifier a bit of competition. The Dutchman Mike Schlosser had placed in the top 10 at all 4 stages, winning a pair of silver medals along the way. He was the odds-on favorite to win this match. At least, that's what the script said. Everything was going according to plan with 2 arrows to go, but Cardoso was about to rewrite the script. That 10 put pressure on Schlosser, who would surrender a point in what was now a very noisy stadium. Cardoso wasn't about to lay down. He cashes in again. Still, the match is Mike's to lose. A 10 will win, 9 forces a shoot-off, 8 not enough. The underdog, Miracle Mario Cardoso, gets an early Christmas gift. After surviving that match with hard luck Mike Schlosser, Miracle Mario, the accidental archer who was added to the dance card to fill out the field, improbably found himself getting ready for the bronze medal match against Dominique Genet, who had dropped a 1-point decision in the semifinals to Turkey's Demir Elmaachla. Word on the street had Genet dealing with an undisclosed injury, but if the stoic Frenchman was hurting, it did not show. Certainly not on the scoreboard, where Dominique had a commanding 9-point advantage going into the 4th end. To his credit, Mario Cardoso kept competing. But in the calm, casual style that's become his trademark, Genet methodically pushes ahead, maintaining that 9-point lead. After a slow start, Cardoso is raising his game to a higher level. Still, it's not enough to faze the Frenchman, not in the least. X marks the spot for Mario's final shot of the fourth end, giving this partisan crowd even more to cheer about. But Dominique Genet is more than a match for the young Mexican, who cannot gain ground despite 3 straight tens. It's still a 9-point spread after 4 ends in a scheduled 5-rounder. With the president of World Archery on hand for the proceedings, Mario Cardoso proceeds to extend his hot streak. But it feels like he's running in place. Dominique Genet simply refuses to miss. With little fanfare, no drama, and his emotions safely in check, Genet efficiently, effectively, and almost effortlessly keeps putting up 110 after another, and there's nothing Cardoso can do to slow him down. Genet's hotter than Eza Gonzalez, hotter than Abu Dhabi asphalt in July. He is un fuego. There will be no miracle this time for Mario Cardoso, who ends up with a respectable score of 139. But there's no shame in losing to a man who was almost perfect. Dominique Genet would wind up with 149 points, 14 tens, and 1 9, and 1 point short of perfection. It was a breathtaking performance by a man who had been to this rodeo before. Dominique Genet had been to the finals twice during his career, finishing 7th in Tokyo back in 2012 and falling short 2 years ago in Paris in a bronze match with Sergio Pagni. 2 years later, his patience and perseverance would pay off. Dominique Genet finally capturing the prize that had eluded him for so very long. In a day full of the unexpected, Damir El-Maachla might have been the biggest surprise. Few beside Sarah Lopez had seen him reaching the gold medal match. This was his first trip to the World Cup Finals, and he had failed to medal at any of the 4 stops on the circuit. But with a quiet confidence, he had worked his way through the star-studded field to reach a showdown with a man who had achieved perfection. India's Abhishek Verma thrilled the world of archery by shooting a 150 in his semifinal match. The question now, how long could he keep his hot hand going? Well, long enough to carry a 1-point lead into the 4th end here at Plaza de la Constitucion. El-Maachla puts the laser lock on the 10 ring, but Verma's zeroed in on the same spot. Advantage India. Damir drops another dime, catching the line for 10 more points. Meanwhile, Abhishek tacks on 10 more himself as his shot nicks the line. Is either one going to blink? Doesn't look that way. El-Maachla's got his groove on. He's not going away. But suddenly, the match takes a sharp turn. Abhishek Verma's final shot of the 4th end is breaking bad. And 8 takes him from 1 up to 1 down and puts El-Maachla in the driver's seat. Damir takes the wheel, leading 115 to 114 with only 3 shots left to shoot in the match. The nightmare would continue for Abhishek Verma, who seems to have lost his mojo, settling for a 9 on his first shot of the 5th end. It's an open invitation for El-Maachla to extend his lead, which he gladly accepts. Yes. Verma finds little magic left in his quiver. He's hanging close, just in case Damir falters. But that doesn't seem to be a likely scenario. He strikes gold yet again, closing in on what would be the greatest victory of his career. A victory that moments before seemed to belong to Verma, who bounces back after 2 tough shots to finish strong. But his fate rests in the capable hands of Damir El-Maachla, who makes history. 3 straight 10s under intense pressure bring Turkey its first individual medal from a World Cup final. Sarah Lopez is a soothsayer after all, picking Damir El-Maachla to reach the gold medal match, where he rallied to win his first individual World Cup medal. Ranked 407th in the world just a year and a half ago, At the start of the 2014 season, Demir Elma Achla becomes the king of the compound world, defeating Rio Wild, Dominique Genet, and Abhishek Verma to claim the crown in Mexico City. Throughout this year, I've believed in myself. I was always close, but I couldn't get it done before. Before this event, I worked very hard. I trusted myself, and I accomplished this achievement, so I'm very happy.
Wow.